Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. I'm going to be reviewing Marty Supreme. This is Mike's Instant Movie Review. I actually saw this movie the night before Christmas, which is about a day and a half ago at this point. So this is interesting. Timothy Chalamet. It looks like this is his kind of Will Smith-esque. I'm looking for an Oscar type of movie. I believe he's listed as a producer. His name is all over this thing. And there are many close-ups in this movie of Timothy just kind of reacting to things, like a close-up of Timothy Chalamet as his character thinks about something. I had really mixed feelings about this movie while watching it, and I can say this: it's been about a day and a half since I saw the movie, and I had to just briefly go flash my memory to the fucking plot and everything because I kind of forgot. Because I guess this movie is not really sticking with me even after a day and a half. It's not a horrible movie, but yet there are some things that I will point out that I think could have improved the film. And this is one of those things that I pick up on and maybe other people don't. But very early in the film, there's a scene where Marty, that's the name of the character, Marty's on the phone and he is basically having an argument with somebody. And the character of Marty, Timothy Chalamet's character, says something to the effect of, uh, "You were literally going to fire me because of blah blah blah," and he uses the term literally as it's used these days, redundantly and for no reason. You know how people just use the word literally these days for literally no reason. Just it's just a filler word, or it's a word to really emphasize the point. People aren't really using the word properly or even necessarily, I'd say. Sometimes the word is being used properly, it's just not necessary at all. And that's what his character does. Now you're saying, well, so what? Well, the movie takes place in the 1950s. I want to say 1952 or 55. But in this scene that takes place in the 1950s, I wasn't there. I'm not Marty McFly, Back to the fucking future here, folks. But I can tell you that people weren't using the word literally in that way, in that unnecessary way. And they just basically, well, that's within the first 5 minutes of the film. So Chalamet, I'm wondering, the director, who I don't think was Chalamet, the director or anyone on set, no, the editor, nobody said, "Hey, gee whiz, you don't fucking need this literally here because people didn't speak that way." Uh, I think I'm trying to remember. There's a decent. My other thing, if you've seen my reviews, the sentence "Are you okay?" and "What do you mean?" They weren't too bad in this. They didn't have. Those are two sentences that are overused in a lot of movies. If you want to give yourself a laugh, go to any movie or watch any TV show and listen for the line of dialogue, "Are you okay?" And to a lesser extent, "What do you mean?" This movie, I don't think, suffered from that disease quite as much. I think there might have been. I don't think they did a "You got this." That's another one that's overused and used in movies that shouldn't be used in. I don't think they did that. But basically, the literally, I guess that's the new one. I guess. I don't like this. I don't like saying "I guess" either. There's a lot of words that I don't. Phrases, not words, but phrases that people use. Bet. I don't like when people say bet. That's dumb. Just modern colloquialisms, is that the term? Modern slang is stupid. Bet is dumb. Okay, so let's go back to this film. I guess a little bit ahead of the curve. The character of Marty is kind of a swinging Romeo here. He's getting his groove on with a young woman about his age. She's kind of double dipping or getting double dipped because there's another guy that she's also fornicating with, and she kind of doesn't. I don't know if she knows who the father of her child is. Spoilers, by the way. But it's basically like Marty and this girl kind of have this somewhat of a romance, but yet she marries another guy because she gets knocked up. And although she seems to think that it's Marty's child, Marty has gone off to see the world, leaving her with no man to take care of her child back when. So you're left to believe that she fools this husband guy into thinking that Marty's child is this other dude. And in the meantime, Marty goes off to find his fortune. And this feels very much like a movie DiCaprio would have done 20 or 30 years ago. And basically, look at this cool character. And he's kind of a ruffian and he's kind of a scam artist, but we love him anyway. And he basically hooks up with this older, more mature woman who's kind of a caged bird, sexy Gwyneth Paltrow, who's probably 55 in real life, looks great as always. And she's married. And this is actually my favorite character or actor in this movie. What a surprise. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from the series Shark Tank, which is one of those shows that I never sat there on a Thursday night or whenever this thing was on TV. I never sat there and watched Shark Tank like an asshole, but now that it's all over YouTube, I will sit there like an asshole and watch a clip or two. And Mr. Wonderful, he does a really good job in acting. They give him a hair piece for this thing, so he looks a little different. But I thought his character of the rich guy who there's a funny scene where he demands to paddle Marty, like Marty insults his dead son and points out the hypocrisies of this rich guy doing business with the Japanese, even though it's coming off of World War II, and his son got killed by the Japanese, apparently. So it's all these things. Ping pong is another thing. It really just feels like ping pong is kind of the backdrop of this movie. Why is the movie called Marty Supreme? Because Marty's another friend or colleague of Marty makes a ping pong ball, or a table tennis ball, as they so presumptuously call it in the film, and it's the Marty Supreme ball, an orange tennis ball. I don't know if this movie was based on true events. I don't think it was, but maybe it was. The pencil thin mustache and the unibrow. I don't know if this was based on a real character. Fine. The unibrow, for instance, it just feels like this is Timothy's way of doing a um, character study or a character trait. Oh, I'm going to not be the pretty boy in this thing. I'll give myself a unibrow so I look like a guy from the 1950s, because back then they couldn't pluck eyebrows. I just, you know what I mean? And I just feel like the movie Frida, for instance, way back when, Salma Hayek, the character of Frida, the famous artist, her unibrow was kind of a custom thing or a trade, or not a trademark, but just Frida was known for her unibrow. I've never heard of this Marty guy, if he really did exist, and if his unibrow was somehow a character trait. To me, it just feels like Timothy's pulling the routine where he doesn't want to be stereotyped as a pretty boy. So he's doing this unibrow as a way of showing that his acting can overcome that, or even he can make a unibrow look cool. It didn't work for me. Uh, there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, almost too much stuff. And it feels like basically the feeling of this film is, okay, this cool character is ahead of his time and he's a rebel without a cause, and he's in the stifling 1950s where women get slapped around and everybody's an asshole, but he's got the inside track on coolness and hipness, and he's pointing out the hypocrisies of everybody. But at the same time, he's kind of a scam artist. There is a save the dog scene. If you're familiar with that term, save the cat. Recently, a friend of mine demanded to know what that meant. It's from a book titled Save the Cat, exclamation point, by Blake Snyder. And it's about screenwriting and how do you make a negative character or an anti-hero a hero. You have that character save a cat from a tree, hopefully within the first 10 or 12 minutes of the film, so that if you have like an anti-hero character, say it's a bad guy and he's an anti-hero, he's a flawed hero of the film, flawed protagonist. You have this character save a cat from a tree, and suddenly, no matter what crap he pulls, you'll still be cheering for him. And they blatantly pull that with Marty because he saves a dog like a couple of times. They keep going back to this dog. There were some other surprise, actors in this movie, people that you wouldn't expect. Like, oh, wow, look, that person's in this movie. It really just feels like this movie was swinging for the fences, and I feel like it's, kind of a pop out. Like, I just feel like the movie's not as good as Chalamet would like it to be. I don't know if he's delusional and he thinks that this is such a great movie. I think he could do another movie. And when I say him, it really does feel like Chalamet was pushing the buttons on this thing. I don't know if he's listed as director or not. but he is listed as the producer, and it really felt like he was trying to showcase all his variable talents and trying to make everybody a big. I mean, it's like, hey man, know your lane. Like your lane's pretty big as it is. This period piece, character study, swashbuckling romance scam artist thing. I'm just not. I didn't really think it was a great movie. I didn't think it stunk. It wasn't bad. It kind of makes me think, with the right material, he could do a lot better. But I just didn't find myself thinking this was an awesome movie. Oh, here's another thing. About halfway through the movie, you kind of recognize, oh, there's some music in the background for these scenes that feel like kind of 80s dance syntho pop music, or, art, like poppy dancey music that's not from the 1950s. And then towards the end of the film, which has this wonderful wrap up where, he's tired of fucking Gwyneth Paltrow's character, the older woman, and, hustling her for money and diamonds and hustling her husband. That's the Kevin Leary character, Kevin O'Leary. He goes back to the girl that he knocked up and that was getting punched around by the other guy, and whose baby is it? And oh yeah, she hasn't had the baby yet. She's 8 months pregnant for about 5 months in this film. Like all the stuff that happens while she's 8 months pregnant feels like it's legitimately, literally 6 weeks. Like she's 8 months pregnant for quite some time until she finally hatches this kid. And it would be funny if the kid came out like, basically black or something, and then Marty would really know it's not his baby or the other guy's baby. That would be funny for me. That would be a good swerve to this steaming horse pile of shit called this movie. But basically, when the child is born, Marty asks to see the baby, and he sees the baby, and he's so happy and he's so enamored. Another little thing I'll get into. Maybe this is not controversial, but I'm just pointing things out. Whenever they have these period pieces, meaning 1950s, when it was a pretty segregated country, United States of America, and but they always show the black person or the African American person. They all had like jobs as nurses. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, like every single nurse in this hospital was an African American person, because you don't have any African American principal characters, like real characters with any depth. So they basically say, well, what can we give them? Make them a nurse. And I'm just saying that I see these things, I acknowledge these things, and I don't think you have to, you don't have to do what they call blind casting in every movie. It's just funny to me. It's just funny that it's so obvious when these things happen. It gives me a little wiry smile that I see what's going on. But anyway, the nurse shows him the baby, and he's so happy, and it's like, oh wow, the character arc. Like, Marty has gone from the scam hustling asshole who cheats everybody and fornicates women and is not living up to his responsibilities, and now he's going to be a stay-at-home dad, or he's whatever the fuck. And it's just like, and he's oppressed. He's the oppressed table tennis player. There's so many scenes in this movie, if you see it, where like it's a close-up on Marty, and he's thinking, and he's pontificating, and he's growing, and it's horse shit. I mean, it's really, if you think about it, this movie is just trying to push so many buttons at once. It's like if you're playing a video game and you push all the buttons and then you explode the video game, like the video game jams up. Or if you do that nowadays, you can't even watch television. It's like I was trying to watch a goddamn football game yesterday, and I'm going through every possible thing. Is it on Peacock? Is it on fucking Direct TV? Is it on the antenna? Well, the antenna, the cat knocked over the antenna, so now I don't have the over-the-air channels. I'm going through all these procedures to find the football game, and it's on Netflix the whole time. Netflix, of course. That's where I'm watching the NFL on a goddamn Christmas Sunday morning or Thursday morning. In any regard, folks, Marty Supreme, I say it's not supreme. I say it's Marty mid. It's average. It's not horrible. I'm not going to, say everyone's a piece of garbage in this movie. Paltrow and O'Leary are probably the best things. And I mean, I give credit to Chalamet. Hey, he wanted to make a movie, so he did. But I can't say it's a great movie. Out of 5 stars, I give it about 2.5. MikeMessier.com.